Oriire funo, good tidings to you. I pray that you're feeling awake, aware, and elevated in mind, body, and spirit, wherever you are and whatever may be happening around you. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. I am Baba Umar, Oluranse Emese, voice of the MSA, member of the Isoro Traditional Council of Chiefs in Ile-Ife, Nigeria, Oluwo of the House of Umar, and Babalawo of Ile-Ife, Orisa, the House of the Mysteries of the Orisa. Oriire, abundant blessings to our Egbe, our online community of subscribers that continues to grow thanks to you. Thank you for joining us for another lesson. Remember, as a member of our YouTube Egbe, you can support each other's spiritual journey by posting your questions and uplifting comments in the comment section below. You can also email me using the link in the description below if you need to contact me on a more personal matter. Also, check the community section of this channel for periodic messages from me. If you're new to these video lessons, we invite you to go ahead and click the subscribe and notification buttons and share this resource with your family, friends, and associates. You never know whose life you may change by that simple act of sharing. Homage to the one who sends and to those who are sent. Homage to Orisa and Egun. Our topic in this video is Not Just Black and White, Part 4, Ifa on White Supremacy, Racism. In our last video, Part 3, we mentioned that there was a period of time during which the Oyinbo continued to practice their Ifa. So let's take up from there. And the sacred Odu Irosu Obara, the 127th Odu, tells us of a time that for a time the Oyinbo did continue to practice their Ifa after leaving Alkebulan, Africa. Speaking of the Oyinbo becoming profitable and in commerce and their sacrifices leading to prosperity, this Odu says, Aboru Aboye, Omo Ko Alaje, Otanta Wara, Divine Ifa for Oyinbo. Oyinbo was asked to sacrifice to enable him to sell abundantly. The sacrifice, 200 calories worth of salt, a white hen, a white pigeon, and 20,000 calories. Oyinbo heeded the advice and sacrificed. He became prosperous. Aboru Aboye, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Remember the expression BOA, BOA, Ru Ifa, Isoro? Like Proverbs is how Ifa speaks. When we're seeking wisdom from the sacred Odu, we ask ourselves, how does this Odu, this essay, this verse, address the particular matter that I am seeking guidance about? In this present case, I'm seeking to understand the history of the Europeans and of the evolution of white supremacy racism so that I can share that wisdom with you to assist in expanding your consciousness. So if we apply this above Odu, this Ifa, to the history of the Oyinbo population, we see that Orunmila and Ogun put the Europeans on the path towards economic dominance in the world because they were faithful to their Ifa for a time. But then, over time, they lost their way. Let's see what the sacred Odu can tell us about how the Oyinbo's eyes became closed to their true spiritual nature and identity. How did some of them, maybe many of them, perhaps even most of them, become antagonists in the human drama. Turning to Odu Oyeku Meiji gives us insight into how the Oyinbo's eyes became closed. This Odu, and part of this Odu, one of the essays is speaking of Eji Oye and Eji Agbe, brothers. Aboru Aboye. Oto, Oro. Adiafun Eji Oye. Eyi Tomo. Ri Eji Agbe. Egbon. Oloju Fin. Ebo Nwon Niose. Oto, Oro, cast divination for Eji Oye, the one that was always arrogant to Eji Agbe, his brother. He was warned to offer sacrifice. Oyekun Gbebo Nbe, Be Niorubo. Oyeku heard about the sacrifice, yet he did not offer it. Esu Aisebo, the evil of not offering the sacrifice. Egba Eitu Eeru, the ill of not giving the prescribed booties. Eyen Ori Boyeku Seidodu De, come and see how Oyeku Meiji's eyes become closed. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Oyeku Meiji is the second of the Odus, and the one that signifies darkness, unhappiness, and warns of death, sickness, worries, and a bad omen. Yet it also carries with it the solution to all those problems. Oyeku Meiji tells us that for the Oyinbo to become reformed, they must do three things. 1, they must make a habit of offering sacrifices and appeasing their Ori from time to time to avoid becoming depressed. Eji Oye's arrogance is actually born out of depression. When a person feels inferior, that obviously causes depression. And oftentimes what will happen, that depression can get turned around and directed outward in the form of arrogance or antagonism towards the other. So the Oyinbo, in being forced to decide to leave the motherland and being harassed and put down because of their inability to be successful in the African environment, develop a sense of depression. Their early failure before they turned to Ogun to receive the guidance to make them successful, that early depression set the seed for their changing their way to becoming more arrogant outward, directing their inner pain outwardly towards the other. The second thing that the Oyinbo have to do in order to be reformed is to listen to and respect the views of their elders. In the human family, who is the elder? That's you and me, the original man. So the third thing that they need to do is to honor their ancestors regularly. Note how the Europeans trace their history back to Rome and to Greece and consistently fail to look all the way back to Al-Kubu land, the mother earth, the mother of mankind, the Garden of Eden, Africa. So this Odu tells us that the Oyinbo population need to be reminded and taught about their relationship to their ancient ancestors and the need, the need for them to begin once again following the guidance of Ifa. Well, Who will remind and teach the Oyenbo? If not those of us who have the wisdom of Ifa, the elder member of the Eniyan, the original man. The Yoruba say, Ayeloja Orunile. Earth is the marketplace. Heaven, the spirit world, is home. One translation of Oyeku Meiji is Oyeyeiku, meaning spirit of the mother of death. Clearly, because of their deviation, the Oyenbo have brought death into the world on a scale not seen in thousands of years. Oyeyeiku is also reference to the idea that nothing in the universe is created or destroyed, but simply transformed. Death represents transformation. Any end of cycle. For example, the end of poverty, the end of ill health, the end of confusion, the end of loneliness. Death can be understood as a positive and represents the end of infancy, the end of childhood, the end of adulthood, and ultimately the end of this life as a stepping stone to the next life. This points to the purpose that the Oyenbo are serving in the plan of Olofi-dumare. They are instruments of expansion and transformation of human consciousness. Remember, when we witness or experience what we don't want, we also come to realize what it is that we do want. This is the nature of contrast in the social environment. This is the nature of the binary nature of social interaction. When we recognize what we don't want, we also come to recognize what it is that we do want. The worst of the Oyenbo and their behaviors are showing us what it is that we don't want, the kind of people we don't want to be, the kind of world we don't want to co-create and live in. Remember the wisdom we gained in part 1 of this series from the sacred Odu Ogbe Ofun, 45th Odu, speaking of why Olofi-dumare created 3 groups of people, 3 groups of humans, to do 3 kinds of things on earth. Aboru Aboye. Ifa was cast for Orunmila when coming from heaven to earth. Ifa was cast also for Omo Eniyan when they were categorized into 3 groups. Those who would come to achieve on earth, those who have come to accompany the achievers, and those who have come to watch things happen. Also, they were coming to do 3 kinds of things. They were coming to do good, they were coming to do evil, they were coming to do neither good nor evil. So remember in our first video in this series, we talked about the importance of discernment. You know, how dangerous the word all is, all whites, all blacks, all this, all that, no, right? All trees, right? We have to discern. So here, the Ifa is giving us guidance into the fact that they're different. People are different, no matter what they look like on the outside. People have come for different reasons, and we all choose which category are we going to fall in when we come into the world. Why are we coming? Ifa was cast for Agboniregun when he was going from earth to heaven, and was going to inquire from Olofi-dumare why he had created 3 categories of Eniyan who would be doing 3 kinds of things on earth at the same time. Agboniregun said that, quote, there was no way the 3 creatures would not confront one another, and when they did, there would be casualties. Olofi-dumare replied that this was a way of knowing human attributes, human attitudes. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. And remember what we learned from Odu Irosu Iwari, the 78th Odu, when we spoke about the sacred contract with Olofi-dumare to bring about the good condition in the world for every human being. Aboru Aboye. One day, all kinds of people, good people, and those who do not allow good in other people's lives, gathered together. They then went to Orunmila. They said, coming back and forth to earth tires us, Orunmila. Therefore, please allow us to rest in heaven. Orunmila's reply was, no, there will be no resting in heaven until you figure out how to bring about the good condition for every human being. Aboru Aboye, Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. So the challenge to us is to figure out how to deal with those individuals in the world who came to not allow good in other people's lives, to be the contrasting elements in the human family, to be the people who cause isoki, contraction, in order for us to recognize what we don't want and to bring about the expansion of human consciousness by realizing what it is that we do want. What is the kind of world that we want to live in? Who are the kind of people that we want to be? Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Let's see if we can wrap this short series up in one more video. So we'll continue in a part 5 and hopefully wrap this up and move on to other topics. Ki Olu-dumare Orisha ati egun, fifune ni itona imoye ati opo ire. May Olu-dumare Orisha and egun bestow on you guidance, wisdom, and abundant blessings. Ifo kanbele, peace of mind from Olu-dumare. Ajo lo, ajo bo. We go out together, we return together. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.